Welcome to another episode of Money Not Magic. This is a place where we invite the elite, hardworking people who are not elite just because they sound elite or they look elite. They're elite because they've done a lot of hard work to be elite in their own lives. It could be their personal lives or professional lives. And today, I've got a guest who I probably don't have to introduce if you see his face, but if I have to start with an introduction, I've got someone whose boards are everywhere, and if I don't cross a street without a board, then I feel I'm not in that area. I'm talking about Steve and Nila Koerber of Remuera, and if there's a street which doesn't have their sign, that means you're not in Remuera, you're actually out of Remuera. So first of all, welcome to both of you. A duo power couple, and I think you're the first couple to be featured on our show as well. We've only had single people coming in and talking about their success stories, but they say that behind every successful man, there's a woman who actually gets the success to the next level. And welcoming you, Nila and Steve, once again, from being in Navy, Steve, to being a real estate agent, right? 27 years in the industry. First of all, how did you choose to come out from Navy and to get into real estate? What inspired you to be in real estate?
I think the key thing was I was in the Navy. I was reasonably successful on a good career path, but for me, I wanted, at that stage in my life when I was only early 30s, I wanted more reward for effort. So rank for me was the reward in the Navy, whereas I guess I just wanted more of a financially secure future. Also, I had a couple of little health issues at the time, so it was a good time to just make a big change.
Perfect. So you've been in real estate and from the last 27 years now.
Yeah. Okay.
And when you said that off camera that the boost came in and this lady joined, the next phase, first phase was coming in. So Nila, you came in. What was the boost part of it?
So before real estate, I used to be an accountant, a management accountant. So I suppose I can. Sometimes things are going great, but you can always tweak it a little bit, and then it goes in a completely different trajectory. So I think basically also being happy as well. It's easy to work harder. It's easy to make the right decisions when you are happy. So I think being together, and being happy, that helped us both to do things better. And people like to be around you when you're happy. So I think for us, happiness is a big thing in everything.
And what is happiness for you?
Happiness is to be light, not worried. If you have problems, to be able to solve them really, really easily. That's happiness. Sort of, I heard recently that, to treat life as an amber light, not a red light, to keep going. So that's happiness, to be able to keep going.
Perfect. And do you concord with her?
Yeah, I think a positive mindset. I think when you're confronted with problems, what I've learnt from Nila is to have a positive mindset towards that rather than a negative. And the old Eeyore mentality, I used to have that, but now I just get things sorted.
It's solution driven.
Yeah,
very much so.
Solution driven, yeah.
How have you seen the market changing from 1997 to 2024? What is the biggest change you've seen? What was real estate then, and what is real estate now?
Yeah, it's interesting. One of the biggest changes I've seen is that when I was 35, 25 years ago, is that right? Yeah, the maths. My volume of sales as an individual and almost without a PA was, I look at old flyers and I was still selling 50, 60, 70 homes in a year. And so it's a really big difference, because today, if I was out there with the regulations and the time it takes to get a property to market, the marketing that's involved, there's no way I could do that on my own. So now I have a team of, we have a team of 5 people. So that's been a major change. It hasn't, the volumes of sales actually that I see. If you ask me how's real estate change, well, a hell of a lot less houses actually sell. If you go back and you look at in my area, in the late 90s and 2000s right through. The volumes per year were 5, 6, 7, 800 sales per year. Currently we're sitting somewhere between 2 and 300.
Wow.
That's a major change. People are moving, for what I'm seeing, is people are moving less.
So, I mean, that's interesting. 27 years in 90s, or early 2000s, you were selling more.
Yeah.
And lesser marketing, lesser compliance, lesser stuff.
It could be done very quickly. We could go into a vendor's house and take a buyer the next day and sell it. Today it takes a week to get the paperwork done.
In the market, wow,
Yeah.
that's actually brilliant. And that, you said, in my area. So my next question is, love your area is your slogan, right? Or your tagline, or your line which pulls everybody in.
Yeah.
How did you guys come up with that line? And what does it mean for people and you?
We came up with it at our kitchen bench. We have Trudy, who she's like a sister. She's worked with us forever, and we love marketing. So we're sitting in the kitchen bench, and we came up with it.
We were redesigning the
because
business.
We want to be area focused anyway. And we love being in Remuera. We do everything there. So came up with the slogan.
And it was in
And
2016.
it's everyone's area too. It's when you say love your area, it's not love my area. It's everyone's together.
It's like an instruction, it's a question, it's a statement. It has multiple meanings for us, but it's got great words in it.
It is,
Yeah.
it is. And if you look at it, it's an instruction, it's a question, it's a meaning, it's so much, so
Emotion
more.
as well,
It's an
isn't it?
emotion as well.
Yeah.
That you can connect with it.
I'm amazed that more people, more agents in different areas haven't taken it on.
Exactly.
I find that quite strange.
Yeah. And it's a
That's
connection.
a franchise coming up.
So, from Remuera, let's talk about Remuera itself. Love your area. There's a thought behind it. What basically was your average sale price then, and how's it changed till now? I know we're selling lesser houses. What has happened to the prices?
Well, if you go back to say the year 2000, I think the average price was about 400,000, I think. And then now, today, fast forward, we're at about 3 million on average sale price. So that's quite a jump. But it's also, I did have a focus on a less expensive area of Remuera when I first started. And now when Nila joined me, she said, "What are you doing that for?" And we shifted.
And that's a very, massive shift as well, because, when I take a walk, because I'm walking around almost every morning, and every day it's a new street I walk on, right? I'll go down to, Oraki Basin, then you take the bridge. There's a brilliant walk and you do the whole loop.
That's beautiful.
From the behind of Meadowbank and come down to Remuera in to Luzerne Road and all that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And sometimes you go towards the markets, which is, the
Towards Parnell.
one towards Parnell. Then you go to the Mount Hobson. There's so many different places and terrains you see in Remuera. Portland Road, you can just go down and up. It's like a full. And if you do one round every day, it's your full cardio done for a day.
It's good.
And coming into this area which is Remuera and changing your strategy, which has worked for you, what was the major thing or the biggest thing which changed for you? One, you chose to come to a different part of Remuera. Second, what changed for you which makes you guys? Steve and Nila Koerber is the top name in Remuera. How?
For me, I think it's our problem-solving skills and caring, really. We we care about the people more than, we want the house to look the best it possibly could, but actually taking care of the people and solving their problems, isn't it? And keeping them safe through the process, because it's a big change in their life and a lot of money is involved. It can get stressful if it's not taken care of properly. And people's other needs too. It's not just selling the house. Their life changes.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think for me it's work ethic.
Yeah.
We just actually work very hard, which I guess most successful people say that. As an example, last night we were driving past the office at 9 p.m. We had to go into the office to do some little piece of paperwork, and I suggested to Nila that we, instead of doing that, we go out and see the client who had made an offer on the house. And we agreed, yep, we should do that. So I rang them and said, we're going to see you soon. we would have arrived there, 9:15. But she said no, so we've had to reschedule it. But I say it like that because the intention was there and the attitude was there to do the right thing and to work. If we had to, we'd go till midnight or later. You do have to put boundaries around that as well. And a lot of people would say to us, well, you work too hard and you've got no life and all that sort of thing. But it's part of the success. That's the secret, is to be willing to do that work when you don't actually feel like it.
And that's, you've actually entered into my next question. What's your definition of success? It's a great segue to get in.
Yeah. What do you think?
For me, success is not have to worry about things, to have more options in life, and obviously to be happy, but to have more options in life and not have so much stress, sort of have, the world sort of opens up for you more. And you can decide to do things or not decide to do things. You are free to decide. It's sort of a freedom for me.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's probably not a definition of success, but what I've noticed over the years is that what's changed for me is I used to have to take on clients that made me feel uncomfortable, like who I didn't quite trust, etc. And so these days it's nice to be able to make a decision on that and just hold those people away, so to keep the, for want of a better word, the toxicity of life away from us. And so our life is much more smooth, and it's great to be in a trusting environment where you can help people.
What's hard work? Can you please define hard work for people? And would you like to give some tips to the budding agents or anyone from any industry who wants to succeed somewhere? What is hard work and how do you define it?
For me, hard work is doing the right thing, not the easy thing. So if like on a daily basis, if you got a choice of doing A or B and you think, oh, that's the right thing to do, but this is easy, I always think, oh, is that the right thing? So it's sort of those micro decisions you make in an hourly basis or a daily basis, like, do I go for a run today or don't I go for a run? You think, oh, what's the easy thing is to, have another cookie, but the right thing is go for a run. So you sort of always deciding, because little things, little decisions end of the day make your life really, make your week, make your year, make your life. So I think those micro decisions are really important on a daily basis to have that discipline.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows what the right thing is, but whether you do it or not is different.
And it's also saying that do the right thing when no one's watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep. You know whether you've done the right thing or not.
Exactly. And your inner self always tells you.
Yeah. And that makes you happy if you know that. End of the day, you sleep better.
In your industry, in your world of hard work, you must have met a lot of clients, a lot of people. You would have helped a lot of people sell, buy. You've been a part of their families.
Yeah.
It's actually an extended family, And I know hard work in our industries is going out of the way, an extra mile, an extra step, one step ahead, as that may say, and late nights, weekends, weekdays. Could come from anywhere.
That's a sacrifice.
In basically, that part of all of this, how do you keep your sanity check and keep yourself motivated and balanced?
Well, that's where we're lucky we've got ourselves, ourselves and each other.
So we it's not lonely because we got company, we can laugh, we can problem solve together, isn't it?
Yeah, and if I have a bad day, Nila will sense that and be a pick, she'll pick me up.
Do a bit extra.
Yeah.
Or if I say, you can solve that today.
Yeah, and we'll go for a walk. Last night we had a walk together with the dog.
11 o'clock or something.
Pretty late. and Nila's, the words that came out of Nila's mouth were, aren't we so lucky that it's so good to do this, and we always feel so much better once we do it, because we've been busy, bang, and then just switch off and
go for a walk.
Have a stroll. Yeah, so that's answer to how we switch off, really.
And basically, you've also come to couples advice now. From real estate to hard work to success. Now, as a couple, you've done a very massive, a major piece of advice that not many people put their egos in front. Right? As a couple, what you just said, that when he's having a bad day, you'll understand and you'll do a bit of an extra mile.
Yeah.
If you're having a bad day, he would, right? And I think a part of companionship in being a couple is that you keep on giving in and working with each other and looking after each other and caring for each other without having that extra,
What about me?
what about you? So what's your advice to a lot of couples, and you have 7 kids amongst both of yours, and how do you manage everything all together, busy life, then kids, then a dog as well, then a full-on Remuera market. This is what I need to know from my learning as well, that as a couple, as human beings, what is it that keeps you going?
For me, it's being more not externally focused rather than about me. Like when you make someone else happy, you automatically get happy. That thing about, what do I need to do to get happy is, generally to make sure everyone around you is all right. Then you automatically get happy. That's sort of my sort of happiness. Sometimes I need to look after myself and have a sleep, but it is self-care as well. But I think not be so self-focused about what do I get out of it. If you take that out, that helps life a lot.
Yeah,
it comes automatically.
Nila mixes a bit of kindness. You pour a bit of kindness in there, and it just makes people around her just feel incredible. Makes me feel incredible.
But yeah, I don't know.
So, what I wanted to say was that what I learned on my journey, is everything. It's a very different journey. Is the power of not having to be right about everything. And so what I see when I see couples who are a little bit agitated, we were just with a couple recently and they're a little agitated between each other, and it was just this little battle that goes on. I'm right, no, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right, and they've obviously developed that style of operating between each other over the years, and it's just slightly, in my mind, a little bit disrespectful to each other, but they're just used to that. And
it doesn't mean they don't love each other.
No, that's
just
exactly.
a different way of operating.
Yeah. So
and it doesn't really matter end of the day who's right.
So I learnt years ago how to deal with people with egos. I didn't know what ego meant like 15 years ago, but I did a lot of study on it. I honestly didn't. And so I worked it out, and I think I'm more of a master at it now. That sounds like I got an ego about it, but I had this guy on the phone to me once, and he was ranting and raving. You have difficult customers, and it's this and that and this and that, and I held the phone away from because it was just dribble. It was crazy. He was just going to keep going. But every time he took a breath, I just said, "You're right," and then blah, 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 blah. "You're right, blah, blah, blah. You're right." I just kept telling him he's right, he's right, he's right, he's right. And then he stopped and he said, "Well, I'm not always right about everything." And I said, "You're right." And so I have actually learnt to disarm people by just telling them that they're right. And then once they're calmed down, we just move on with what needs to be done.
So a lot of things, a lot of books are being written on self-love, be selfish, you all born selfish. And in the real sense, if self-love also comes sometimes by giving a lot back, and in your set you said when you make someone happy, happiness does come to you, and it's actually real fact. We all are community people, and as a community, when we make each other happy, while we're walking, just say good morning. Sometimes when I'm walking, I'm just saying good morning all the time. My partner tells me that, "Why are you just saying good morning to everybody?" I said, if you're passing someone as another human being to me, it's good to wish someone, and sometimes I get the good morning back, sometimes I don't get the good morning
doesn't
back.
matter.
So I count my good mornings that day. So if I got 10 out of 10, that means the day is going to be good. If I got 5, then it might be a different.
That's
But
really good.
what I've seen in you guys, dealing with you personally, that there's always a smile and there's always a solution. It could be tough times, and it does come. Sometimes you have a different vendor, sometimes it's a different agent, sometimes you're just being an agent, and sometimes you're in the middle. Because you're good people, you want to resolve it. And sometimes people walk away. And making the other person feel that you're right actually calms them down and disarms them. It's a brilliant tool for everybody, because we all keep on fighting on who's right.
Don't fight.
In fact, nobody's right. You're right in your own perspective, the other person is also. But if you are in an argument, the difference between animals and humans should be one. They can think when to say no and come back and not keep on fighting and just move away, right? So that's brilliant. One more brilliance. And again, giving to people and also self-care. In terms of self-care and making people right, what is the balance?
I think self-care is important because you have more energy then. So you sort of have to look after your mind, body and spirit. So it's not just one thing, you know. So you always have to do some of it every day, you know.
And how do you do every day? What do you do every day to make it balance?
One thing I realized is I wasn't a sleeper. I do everything else, do a lot of exercise, read a lot, do, you know, meditate, whatever, but I wasn't sleeping. So that was my little my problem. So I had to learn to sleep basically. So at 50 something, 57, I had to learn how to sleep, which I've done. So you think, you know, you have to spend half your life, maybe 3/4 of your life, and not know how to sleep. So I had to work really. That was my self-care, that I had to wind down a bit and learn how to sleep without always doing things. So mind, body and spirit, and if you are sort of nourished enough, you can do a lot for the day and look after a lot of people.
And that keeps you motivated as well.
Yeah,
Obviously.
you know, eat well. All of that's really, really important.
It's amazing. So self-care is eating well.
Self-care. Otherwise, you know, you're grumpy and you're tired.
Yes, I think sleeping and eating is very important.
Yeah.
And at the right times.
Yeah.
What do you, Steve?
Well, we're so busy we don't take any toxic news in. Like I don't watch TV or the news or anything. People talk about movies. We go to the movies and we.
At least you can choose what you watch then.
Yeah, well, actually, to me that's a bit of a self-care thing. I love going to a movie theatre and just being like engrossed in what's going on there because it's just such a break from what we do day in, day out.
Television
and then they have these ads that come on. It's like, you know, some guy, you know, running up a hill and it's funny and people are laughing. And we laugh at these ads because we've never seen them before. And I think that everyone in the theatre's sort of been watching TV and may have seen these ads. But anyway, what else do we do? Funny enough, one of my little, like a hobby is I actually do like international financial markets and movements and stuff. So I look at that news and I have this podcast that I listen to in the shower and Nila gives me a hard time. But it's funny, it's helped with some of our investment decisions and yeah, it's just that's a little sideline that I do and I like it.
What's that podcast? Would you like to share with me?
I'd love to, yeah. It's a bit of a crazy guy, American guy. You may have heard of him, Peter Schiff gold. So it's all about gold and precious metals and stuff like that. And we've had a dabble in that and it's nice. It's good. It's exciting for me.
We are just almost to the end of our interview today. And you know, one thing which I would want people to know is that people who are starting businesses, people who are struggling to get their mark in could be any form of the industry, what are the top 3 marketing tips you want to give to them?
I think it's your thing, love.
I think the number one thing is consistency of the message. Yeah, don't change it. If it works and it's good, don't change it.
And it takes a long time before things start paying off, and people give up too early. So you sort of have to keep on at it, and you think, what's the point of this? You know, you'd be in tears doing something, but you sort of have to keep going because it does pay off, but it takes a while. Hard work, and let me see, like the benefit doesn't come for a long time.
Yes.
In things like that where you have to put effort in, like when you do bad things, you know, whatever the results don't come for a long time. There's such a lag. You sort of have to have the faith it's going to happen.
Like the consistency, number 1, hard work, number 2, that's number 3, marketing.
And to have the vision, isn't it?
Vision.
You need to have that vision to be able to imagine that's what's going to happen.
Creativity. I think marketing is such a, I don't know, a lot of people don't understand it actually. But I think we do so much brainstorming about it. Like we'll drive past a billboard and Nila and I think we're just wired that way.
So many bad billboards, you think, oh gosh, they could have done it better.
We'll comment and we try to make the billboard better. I guess we're just wired that way. So that comes through with everything we do and put out into the marketplace.
So basically, consistency of message, hard work, having the right vision, not giving up is also hard work. Because everybody wants instant results these days because you have
doesn't happen.
That you see rich people, rich car, helicopter, but one, you should know how to fly it. 2, you should know that everybody doesn't like to sit in a helicopter because it can also cause you nausea. So it looks nice from the other side.
So true.
Right. It's knowing what you really want and being satisfied and happy with what you have.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying that?
100%. Yeah. And one thing we haven't touched on here is, and if you take myself back to my early days, is that I was a big goal setter in writing. So a real fan of a guy called Brian Tracy.
Yeah.
Maximum Achievement, the book. Amazing. He's getting on now, but that's an incredible book. So my whole life has been hugely influenced by him in being able to write down goals. And basically, in theory, everything that I ever put in goals and wrote down, because I had some real core ones, I've achieved. The only one I haven't is owning a launch.
Don't have the time for it.
I don't have the time for it. But there's a chance that we might. Anyway.
One day.
Thank you so much, Steve and
Thank you.
Nila, for coming
Thank
in.
you, Rev.
And it was a
Lovely
pleasure.
being with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ta.